Hello, and thank you for being part of our 2022 Charter Day ceremony as we pause to reflect on an important milestone in the rich heritage of Columbia College. I'm Dr. Dave Russell, and it is my honor to serve as the 18th president of the college. On this day, 171 years ago, the General Assembly of the State of Missouri granted a charter to incorporate Christian Female College, now known as Columbia College. It was a signal event in the history of our community and our region. Events like Charter Day help us to keep our bearings and provides an opportunity to forge a renewed commitment to our past, our mission, and our direction going forward. To me, a charter is similar to a contract, a social contract that binds us to the people we have served over many generations. The Charter of Columbia College is a written commitment to provide a quality, advanced education to those who have always looked to us to help them realize their dreams. Christian College was founded in an era when women who sought higher education were sent to finishing school. Here is an excerpt from the first course catalog published in the summer of 1851, and I quote, "This institution has been established to afford young ladies the opportunity to acquire a thorough collegiate education by introducing a more extensive course of study and a more rigid discipline of mind than is usual in the ordinary school for girls." Close quote. The college's founders knew that opportunities were limitless for those who desired to further their education, especially those who weren't being served by the current institutions of higher learning. It's in our DNA, as evidenced by the introduction of evening classes, the opening of scores of locations across the country, and the foresight to offer online courses before some of our current students were even born. While we are joined together virtually to strike a celebratory note, I would like to take a moment to honor the legacy of a true American hero and CC alumnus, Brigadier General Charles E. McGee. General McGee passed away on January 16 at the age of 102. The former Tuskegee Airman who served in World War II and the Korean and Vietnam Wars lived a life of dedicated service to the U.S. Air Force, the Boy Scouts of America, and the Alpha Phi Alpha fraternity, among many other organizations. He was truly one of the great alumni in the college's long history, and we ask that you keep his family in your thoughts and prayers. It is now my pleasure to introduce our featured speaker and longtime historian, Dr. Brad Lookingbill. In the fall of 2021, the Board of Trustees bestowed the title of Distinguished Professor of History on Dr. Lookingbill. This is one of the highest honors a professor can receive at Columbia College, and he is just the third faculty member in the history of the college to earn this distinction. Dr. Lookingbill has been part of our faculty ranks for 25 years and has authored multiple books. He is a contributor to several anthologies, encyclopedias, and journals. Today, he will speak about the very early days of our college and its deep roots in the Columbia community. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Brad Lookingbill.
Good morning, and welcome to Charter Day. Thank you, Dr. Russell, for everything that you do to help Columbia continue to fulfill its mission today. I am honored to talk for the next 10 minutes about the college's chartering. Please know that I am standing here with a heavy heart from the passing of Charles E. McGee, an extraordinary individual who demonstrates the values championed at this special place for higher education. Because I am a historian, I know that it is important to be honest and transparent about the use of sources. In my profession, we insist upon citations. I recommend Paulina Batterson's Columbia College, 150 Years of Courage, Commitment, and Change, which was published by the University of Missouri Press in 2001. It is an excellent book, and most of my information derives from its opening chapters. On January 18, 1851, the General Assembly of the State of Missouri approved the charter of, quote, a female college, unquote. A month later, it was named Christian Female College. It was the first institution to provide a college-level education to women west of the Mississippi River. Over the years, it evolved into our beloved Columbia College. Please allow me to put the college's chartering within a historical context for a moment. Here are a few individuals associated with 1851 in the history of the United States. Millard Fillmore was the 13th President of the U.S. Walter Reed, a U.S. Army physician later recognized for his work in treating yellow fever, was born. John Henry Doc Holliday, a dentist better known as a deadly gunfighter, was also born. Sojourner Truth, a formerly enslaved person and renowned abolitionist speaker, delivered the first version of her "Ain't I a Woman" speech at the Women's Rights Convention in Akron, Ohio. Herman Melville's novel, Moby Dick, was published. Stephen Foster's song, Old Folks at Home, was published as well. The college's chartering in 1851 was not only a matter of local significance, it was also an outgrowth of an age of reform in America. In the spirit of the Second Great Awakening, Protestant Christianity accentuated the egalitarianism of popular piety, camp meetings, and biblical literacy during the antebellum period. A former Presbyterian minister named Barton Stone participated in the Cane Ridge Revival of Kentucky, which inspired several congregations to follow nothing but the Christian name in their devotion to the New Testament. In 1832, he joined forces with Alexander Campbell, a Scottish immigrant and a fellow minister in the so-called Restoration movement. Seeking the unification of all Christians, quote, in a single body patterned after the Church of the New Testament, unquote, they formed the Christian Church, Disciples of Christ. Consequently, members of this zealous group considered education to be, in Campbell's own words, a handmaiden to religion and morality. By 1860, it had become the fifth largest Protestant denomination in the U.S. James Shannon, president of the University of Missouri from 1850 to 1856, primarily authored the college's charter. He was an elder in the Christian church, inspired by a common sense faith that extolled individualism. With a distinguished career as a professor of ancient languages at the University of Georgia, Shannon previously helped Baptist ministers found Mercer College in the Peach State. He briefly served as the president of Bacon College in Kentucky before coming to Columbia, Missouri, where the state university did not admit women. The father of 6 daughters, he advocated for the name Christian Female College, rather than another academy or a seminary for young ladies. He saw the name Christian as a unifying term for all believers, which the charter for the college thus underscored with the phrase, "No sectarian influence whatever will be exerted." At the same time, he was an intensely partisan Democrat, denouncing the Whig Party in the state. In 1855, he authored a pamphlet defending domestic slavery in light of Scripture, natural rights, civil government, and the U.S. Constitution. He even encouraged Missourians to attack Kansans. He left Columbia to become the president of Christian University, later Culver Stockton, in Canton, Missouri. He died in 1859 and was buried in Columbia Cemetery. During the summer of 1851, the Board of Trustees was able to purchase the unfinished home of James Bennett and converted it into classrooms and student quarters. Bennett, a local physician and landowner, had died of cholera in Hangtown, California, during the gold rush. Before his departure, Bennett had been involved in Columbia's affairs from its initial settlement. His estate included a 29-acre plot north of town. It is likely that enslaved persons contributed to its development. The executor of Bennett's estate was another member of Columbia's James Gang, a lawyer named James Rollins. Known around town as Major Rollins, the deceased Bennett's brother-in-law later became a U.S. congressman and famously delivered a key vote for the 13th Amendment to end slavery in 1865. In 1851, he arranged the sale of the lot to the college. The Board of Trustees paid $5,500 at 5% interest over a 4-year period for the property. They immediately approved an extension to Bennett's home, which today is all known as Williams Hall. Formally, the college building and grounds were dedicated the next year. Anna Hitt, Emma Gordon, Ann Thomas Harris, Amanda Ellis, Mary E. Carter, Matilda Stone, and Sally Bedford assembled downtown for class on April 7, 1851, the first day of the college's first session. 3 faculty members taught the 7 young ladies. Their typical day started at 6 a.m. with a morning walk, followed by worship in the chapel. They attended classes until late afternoon when they wrote a daily composition. They studied arithmetic, ancient history, grammar, ancient geography, philosophy, the 5 books of Moses, as well as composition. Additionally, classes on Latin and Greek were optional. The college's catalogs aligned with the curriculum of Mount Holyoke College, the oldest member of the historic 7 Sisters institutions of the Northeast, using many of the same textbooks. After domestic chores and piano playing, a Bible lecture occurred every evening. Students seldom left campus, although rules permitted callers and a trip downtown every 6th Saturday. With 6 students completing the requirements for graduation, the first commencement ceremony was held in 1853. In fact, Sally Bedford was valedictorian of the first class. Their ages ranged from 13 to 30, most of them becoming teachers. By 1856, 150 students had enrolled at the college. A former student of Shannon's at Bacone College, John Augustus Williams, became the first president of the college in 1851. Undoubtedly, Williams set the tone with his eloquent inaugural address declaring, quote, "No education can be regarded as useful or philosophical unless it be adapted to the nature of the individual," unquote. The Bible, he declared, was an indispensable textbook for student learning. He also proposed the creation of subordinate, auxiliary, and homogeneous academies in different sections of Missouri, and 2 preparatory schools were established in 1852. Long before the college began experimenting with multiple locations and distance learning, the founders conceived of the academic department as reaching beyond the home campus, our mothership over the years. Williams resigned from his post in 1856 when a quarrel with the Board of Trustees over finances prompted him to establish Daughters College back in Kentucky. Ostensibly, he left Christian Female College with most of the furnishings, part of the student body, and 200 of the books from the library. With the fate of Christian Female College uncertain, let us recognize the namesake for the front gate to the home campus. Joseph Kirtley Rogers, a faculty member who became president in 1858, led the college through the crucible of Civil War. Never canceling a day of class, he lived by the motto, eternal vigilance. Despite the military occupation of Columbia, he told the faculty that, quote, "Nothing shall drive us from our posts." Frequent outbursts of guerrilla activity plagued Boone County, but Christian students remained safe. Each Sunday, Rogers personally led them in a processional down 10th Street on their way to services at the First Christian Church. He even left the bedside of his dying son to conduct commencement exercises at the college. It was a sorrowful time, yet he secured this hallowed ground. He stayed at the helm for 19 years, eventually passing away in 1882. In closing, Rogers included a memorable statement in the college's catalogs that still rings true to all of us today. Quote, "It is our aim, as far as practicable, to make the course of study and the mode of treatment a specialty for each individual case." Unquote. Please remember the college's aim on Charter Day, and let us never lose sight of Rogers Gate. Make this a great day.